We'll now continue with our agenda item, the State of the City address by our newly elected mayor, Ellen Dickson.
Up here. Seeing all of you out here tonight, I wish I had made this shorter. I promise next year's will be shorter. But first, I want to thank my children and Chip for their constant love and support. Julia is here with us tonight. I'd also like to thank so many of my friends that are here in the audience for your tremendous support. It's trying sometimes to know a candidate running for office. We really lean on them pretty hard. Next, I want to thank the citizens of Summit for giving me the opportunity to serve this city that means so much to me. It is my family's home. It is where our children build their foundation, graduated from Summit High School, and went on to become productive and caring young adults. I want the group of people fondly calling Summit home to continue to grow. Then there are the people I had the good fortune to call my fellow council members. Thank you so much, especially the ones that are still sitting in the audience here tonight, including Diane Clafe. Early on, some of you taught me the ropes. We always shared our opinions. The discussions were sometimes spirited, but they were had in the spirit of what we believed was best for Summit. All of us worked as tireless volunteers. Finally, I want to thank the city employees of Summit and let you know how much I look forward to working with all of you. Thank you. There were many changes during Jordan's tenure as mayor, but one was the constant was Summit remained a wonderful community. I will do what I can to further strengthen Summit's foundation so that Summit can remain that wonderful community. As mayor, I will focus on maintaining a strong sense of community by reaching out to all groups and to be inclusive and respectful while doing my best to understand the evolving needs of many of its constituents. I invite all citizens to become involved in the conversations and to be considered for current and future appointments. I have the time. I truly do want to hear from you. There are lots of ways to listen and discuss, and I intend to use multiple means of communications. How many times have all of us heard of a great concert or another event and thought, if only I had known? There are many more ways we communicate today, and I intend to use many of them to stay well connected, including the city's website and the mayor's website. I invite you all to look at ellendickson.com. I worked hard on it. Part of my regular communications at council meetings will include updates on key issues and matters before the Board of Education in Union County. Combined, those two entities combine about 3/4 of every Summit property tax dollar. The communication is also meant to help establish Summit as a trend-setting city. Summit received the Silver Sustainability Award, and I would like to see Summit go for the gold and also leverage the recent designation Summit got for historic downtown that was issued to us by the state. There are some ways we can do this, and they include, one would be to establish a Think Local First committee. That was a grant that was gotten through our Department of Community Community Services that will help build a successful marketing program to leverage that program called Think Local First. I'd also like to reform the Technology Committee and task it with doing things like creating a Summit app. That would provide a more responsive source of communication during times of emergency, as well as focusing on the best ways of getting Wi-Fi downtown and helping develop a more complete understanding of the best security options for downtown and Summit citizens. Yet we need to do even more with technology. Technology is causing industries to change and adapt. Government is not immune to these pressures. Many municipalities have been slow to adapt the latest technologies, which could improve efficiency, productivity, and safety. On this score, we're lucky to have Beth Kinney, who continues to push us forward. Some of our weaknesses were revealed most recently by the 2 storms that hit our community in the past year. Because of the power outages, residents found it hard to get up-to-date information. Our major utility was slow to communicate, and information was hard to get to residents. Many felt left out in the dark in so many ways. You should know the city workers are to be commended for their hard work during those difficult times. We must do what we can to not let it happen again. It is not enough to say it couldn't be helped or it was a freak storm. Those 2 crises revealed another interesting fact and an opportunity. Although the storms left many without television or home internet access, cellular service and mobile internet services remain largely intact. I think we can build on this insight. Mobile technology is a big part of our future. and we need to use it to our advantage. As mayor, I want to explore the viability of the development of a Summit mobile application for all mobile devices, which will provide a stream of continuous updates on government activities, events, and announcements during times of crisis and otherwise. These applications will not only permit city government to communicate with its residents, it should also provide a way for residents to communicate back about events and conditions we need to know about. Wouldn't it be great if every resident were able to let us know the best method of contacting them in case of an emergency, whether it's texting, code red, a knock on the door, or some other method? I hope to do a TV show sometime very soon with Chief Weck and discuss all the different means we have of communicating with our systems and figuring out which are the best ways going forward. Next, we must continue to make sure our neighborhoods are safe and our downtown viable. We can use technology to help support the people who keep Summit safe. Summit is the only city in New Jersey with fully accredited police and fire departments. The police department has a new chief and 2 new captains. Chief Weck intends to shift resources in line with risk assessments of downtown and our neighborhoods. The application of technology should help this effort. He has already stepped up the frequency of patrols downtown, and I expect there will be an increased focus on pedestrian safety. Summit also has a volunteer first aid squad that will be celebrating its 50th anniversary this July. They probably don't get enough credit and enough shout outs from us. They took over 2,000 calls last year at no cost to any resident. Their new president is John Christman, and we wish him well. Keeping people safe is a big part of our quality of life. Another part is having a robust downtown. Let's try and make it a destination while also promoting Summit's historic district designation. We should develop some of our resources, like creating walking trails along the Passaic River. I intend to work with Anton Evers and the Bryant Park Olmsted Conservancy to beautify Bryant Pond. They've already done a lot of work there, and we're about to bear the fruit of that. Other initiatives include establishing a Gateway 3 zone along River Road. This is the future home of Equinox, the high-end workout facility, and possibly other commercial development on River Road. I think would be a very good thing for that zone. Additionally, we may want to consider extending the borders of Summit Downtown, Inc. to include the south side of Broad Street. As for our schools, I hope to be an advocate for the best affordable education for Summit. I think our system should excel and lead by adopting best practices and preparing our children for an increasingly interconnected world where their options are opened up for life and where they will always be proud of their hometown and want to return to Summit. We must also be mindful that this is a time of greater economic uncertainty. For many of our citizens, there are many new pressures and demands, so we should strive to foster a more productive government, a government that adjusts to better meet the needs of its citizens and that provides public service that an even better return to the taxpayers who do place their trust in their government and its employees. There are some other initiatives I would like to highlight. One of them is parking, and the other is embracing Summit's history. On parking, I feel we need to make some strategic decisions to accommodate an increasingly active downtown that becomes more and more of a destination location due to Summit's smart investment and management of our business district. This process should start with a recently established committee set up by Nerese and is fully staffed with people who all have some skin in the game. This committee will propose a set of possible solutions to be considered, and the good news is the committee's term will sunset within 1 year, so hopefully we'll have some recommendations. Quoting from Edmund Raftus's 1996 book, Summit, New Jersey, "Predicted changes do not come easily to Summit. If anything marks the character of Summit residents, it is the watchful eye of proposed changes." In 1905, the Summit Herald observed, "No public improvement has ever been attempted in Summit, no matter how small, without opposition and criticism." But yet this is no reason to not keep trying on parking. Before Summit was Summit, a beacon was raised to warn George Washington's troops of a British advance. According to Raftus's books, 3 generals, Greene, Lafayette, and von Steuben, were with Washington on the heights above Springfield, basically Beacon Hill. They stayed here along with Colonel Alexander Hamilton for about 2 weeks in June 1780. Working with our Historical Society and the Historical Commission, I would like to see us leverage our historic downtown designation and look into developing a heritage trail to highlight Summit's rich history. One of the major responsibilities of mayor is making good appointments, and I am fortunate to have had many people come forward and volunteer. A few recent appointments I have made to different boards include Mary Ogden, Deb McCann, Anjali McCormick, Susan Hairston, Greg Mays, and Wellington Smith, to name a few. Many other Summit resident volunteers a great deal of time to support other community activities. Let us continue to harness the considerable energy and intelligence of the people of Summit. You know, you heard what Congressman Lance says. I really believe it is true. We have some of the best and brightest people living right here in town. We need to harness as many of them as possible. As for the state of the city of Summit, I'd like to paraphrase something President Franklin Roosevelt said from his message to Congress on January 7th, 1943. The state of the city is good, the heart of the city is sound, the spirit of the city is strong, and the faith of the city is eternal. I would like to close with a quote from Goethe that Minister Vanessa Southern shared with me. Whatever you can do or dream you can do, begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. It is time to begin again. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor Dickson. Now we'll have acknowledgments of retiring board presidents, chair.